Hey, it's Mike Roen, Fix My Hog. Got a great little tech tip video for you here today. My favorite, carbureted motorcycles. So all the way up till 2006, you could buy a Harley with a carburetor on it. The only problem was over time, they've got this little plastic fuel inlet elbow and it would deteriorate. And of course, eventually, aftermarket companies and Harley finally came up with the brass elbow inlet. And that's kind of what we're going to do here today is, go over that. If you're on Fix My Hog website, we've got a complete carburetor rebuild video. They show how to do this. But today we're just going to do a quick little 5-minute segment and show you another procedure on how to actually extract this. So let's get started. So, okay, this is a core carburetor, had it laying around the shop. I got it mounted in a vise here. Got some aluminum jaws. You could have wood jaws. You wouldn't even need to put it in a vise, but for the video it works pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and pull this inlet off. Before you do that, take a magic marker and just put a little reference line. You got to have a little line there to refer to the angle, where it was going, just so when you're putting the new one in, you can line that up. Keep it simple. And this is kind of what it looks like. I've already got one taken apart. And if you watch the carb rebuild video, here's what Bob's really stressing. People, what they like to do is they get a vice grip, and the first thing they do is they take and just crank on this thing and they distort it. And what he's worried about is distorting the part that goes into the carburetor, because if you distort this, then you're going to distort the carb body, then your new fuel inlet valve is going to leak. So that's what we're trying to do here. So we're just trying to basically rip this piece of plastic off this brass fitting here that's got knurling on it. So I got a little battery power pliers here, and you can just take and kind of turn it nice and slow, and you're just kind of looking to kind of deteriorate this plastic. See how I kind of broke that edge off, and there. So now I got that out of the way. And here's the tricky part. Now, Bob's got a really good way of doing this. What he did is he tapped it out with a tap, and then he built a little puller and pulls it out straight out of the way. Well, if you don't want to go through the hassle of making a puller, there's probably another way you can do it here. And what we're going to do is just kind of incrementally keep drilling the center of this hole out in oversized steps just to kind of weaken that wall. Then we can lightly grab it and pull it out. So let's try that. So for your reference, I got a drill bit here. It's 230 thousandths. That's going to be our first one. And of course, you're really going to want to pay attention. You kind of look at your drill bit this way, look at it that way. You're trying to keep that thing straight up and down. And the table's just about all the way through. There's actually room for the drill bit to go beyond. And like I said before, this is a core carburetor. We'll be cleaning it all up anyway. If it was your carb, you'd have the choke plunger blocked off. You'd probably have the bottom blocked off. We're doing this for the video, it doesn't matter. Take that drill bit out. Now I'm going to sneak up onto it. I got a 260 thousandths drill bit. Give it a little check, see where you're at. Okay, I'm all the way through with the second drill bit. And now this is the part where you don't want to distort the housing. So here's kind of what I came up with. If anybody has a reverse drill bit set at home, you always get these extractors for extracting, if you break a bolt off in somewhere, you hit it with a reverse drill bit, and then you take this little driver and you turn it in the opposite way here, and it kind of locks it in. Okay, so with the old fuel elbow out, we're going to go ahead and warm this carburetor up because it's interference fit. Now ideally, if you're at home, go ahead and throw this thing in the freezer right away because you want that thing to shrink up. We're going to warm this up to get it to expand it. We've got our magic marker line, so you're kind of looking at that like that. That's how it's going to go. Got a little hammer here. That's what we're going to drive it in with. So, if you got a heat gun, start applying a little heat. And it's probably going to take a little while just because it's kind of aluminum's kind of a huge heat sink. Okay, so we got the old fuel elbow out of there. And really, you know, if you're at home doing this whole procedure, you're going to be taking this carburetor and you're going to be thoroughly cleaning it, obviously. This is a core carburetor. It's not probably going back on a motorcycle. Looks pretty clean, so we're going to set that back in here. Just kind of cinch it up. You just want to keep it so it doesn't go anywhere. Now we're going to apply a little heat to it. Being an aluminum body, it's kind of a huge heat sink. It might take a little bit. But this is one thing you really don't want to force or rush, because if you bust this housing, you're buying a new carburetor. I think it gets it pretty hot. Okay, it's probably enough. Okay, pull your little fuel elbow out of the freezer and really pay attention to, you know, having this thing straight and upright. And I'm trying to see if I'm doing that right. Got my angle set. How's that look? Looking good. Looks good to me. Perfect. Let her cool down a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to show you another little procedure that kind of, if the bike is actually right from the factory, they come with a limiter cap that goes over the air-fuel mixture screw. And I'll show you where it is here. So if you look at that, this thing's still got the fuel limiter cap on here, which is hard to believe because the motorcycle really runs bad with the air-fuel screw in the factory position, because they're trying to make this motorcycle pass emissions. Then they put a tamper-proof cover on there so you can't tamper with it. So it's the motorcycle just doesn't run good in the factory position. So what we're going to do, we're going to put it back in the vise, center punch that, and we're going to use a reverse drill bit to pull that out of there. So here we go. Now, you could do this in a motorcycle with a right angle drill. It's kind of cumbersome, but if you're going through cleaning your carburetor, rejetting it or whatever, it's just way easier to do out of the bike. So get a punch or an automatic centering punch, whatever you got. Just stake it right there. And then get yourself a reverse drill bit. Throw a vernier on there. 125 thousandths, so 1/8 inch drill bit. Reverse drill bit. There again, debris is going to get all over. We don't care. It's our core carburetor. If it's your carburetor, you want to clean everything up, have it cleaned up, protected. Okay, so you're going, why the reverse drill bit? Well, because when you drill into it, you heard me go through it and you heard me hit the head of the screw. If you would have had a traditional drill bit going, clockwise, it hits the head of the low fuel air mixture screw, and it rams it in the carburetor, and you could potentially break the little tip of that off in the carburetor. Now you can throw the carburetor away and get a new one. So we use a reverse drill bit, hits the head of the screw, backs the low speed screw out of the carburetor. Nothing gets hurt. Now, another special tool that I made about 30 years ago or 35 years ago is this really high-tech extractor. It's just basically a wood screw with a cap nut and a hole in it, and basically all you're doing is screwing it in here. You wouldn't have to use that. You could just use a wood screw and a pliers. I just happen to have this in my toolbox. That's it. Pop it out. Now you got your limiter cap off, and now you got access to your low-speed air fuel screw. It's just something you're going to want to do if the limiter cap's still on the motorcycle. It's going to improve the idle quality 100%. So, all right. Well, once again, check out Fix My Hog. We got the full carb rebuild on there, and it's a great video. So thanks for tuning in.